Jojo stood in front of her huge walk-in closet. Rows of shoes lined the shelves, red heels, golden sandals, sparkling sneakers. Her dresses hung like they were in a fashion show, silk, lace, velvet, all colors you could imagine. But Jojo's heart felt empty. She was beautiful. Her skin was smooth and dark like cocoa. Her body moved like music. People stared when she walked into a room. Her job at the international company paid her very well. She lived in a tall apartment building with glass walls and white floors. She traveled to Paris, London, and Dubai. She had it all. But still, she had no one. She touched her red velvet dress and whispered, "Who will I wear this for?" Jojo wanted love, not just any man. She wanted him, a real, black man. Strong, muscular, with beards that made him look like a king. She dreamed of lying on his chest, hearing his deep voice, feeling his arms hold her at night. But every time she met someone, they wanted her money, or her body, or her lifestyle, not her heart. One night, as she sipped wine on her balcony, she closed her eyes and prayed, "God, I don't want to be alone anymore. Bring him to me. I'm ready to give everything." Far below, the city lights twinkled. But deep inside Jojo's heart, something darker flickered, a small voice that whispered, "If you want him, you'll do anything to get him. Anything." It was a Friday night when Jojo's best friend Tasha called. "Girl, I know you're always working, but tonight you're coming out," she said firmly. Jojo sighed. "Tasha, I'm not really in the mood. No excuses. There's a rooftop party at Sky Lounge. Music, vibes, and fine brothers everywhere. Who knows? Your dream man might be there." Jojo smiled faintly. The idea didn't excite her much, but something inside whispered, "Go." She dressed slowly. Her fingers ran across the glittery black gown. It hugged her body like it was made just for her. She added gold hoops and her sharpest heels. Her makeup was soft but powerful, a glow on her cheeks, a bold red lip, and lashes that fluttered like wings. As she stepped into the party, the music hit her like a wave. Afrobeat pulsed in the air. Laughter, clinking glasses, and the scent of grilled meat mixed in the night sky. People turned when Jojo entered. Heads nodded. Eyes followed her. She smiled politely, but her heart wasn't here for attention, it was searching. She greeted Tasha, took a drink, and danced a little. But her eyes kept moving, scanning, hoping. Then, suddenly, time slowed down. He walked in like he owned the air, tall, muscles filling his black t-shirt, skin the color of roasted chestnuts, and his beard thick, neat, perfect. It framed his strong jaw like a crown. His eyes were dark and deep, like he had stories hidden behind them. Jojo's heart thumped. "It's him. He's real." She stared, and he noticed her. Their eyes locked. For a moment, everything else disappeared. It was just them in the night. Tasha leaned close. "You see what I see?" Jojo nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "I need to talk to him." "Then go. But girl, be careful," Tasha said. Jojo didn't answer. Her feet were already moving. Her heart beat fast. Not from fear, from desire. She was going to meet him, and nothing, not pride, not fear, not even fate was going to stop her. Jojo walked slowly toward him, trying to stay calm, though her heart was racing like a drum in a festival. Every step felt like a challenge. Her heels clicked on the rooftop floor, but she didn't care who was watching anymore. He stood by the bar, sipping something dark in a clear glass, his eyes taking in the view of the city. Jojo stopped beside him, close enough to catch his scent, a soft, masculine mix of wood, smoke, and mystery. It pulled her in deeper. "Is the view better from here?" she asked, her voice smooth but low. He turned slowly. When his eyes met hers, they didn't just look, they searched. Deep, slow, almost like he could read her soul. "It is now," he replied, lips curling into a small smile. Jojo smiled back, heart skipping. "I'm Jojo. Marcus," he said. "Nice to meet you." They shook hands. His grip was firm, warm, and for a second, Jojo felt her knees weaken. She forced herself to stay strong. "So, Marcus," she said, sipping her drink, "what brings you here tonight? You don't look like someone who enjoys noise and crowds." He chuckled. "I don't. My cousin dragged me out. He says I'm too serious." "What about you?" "My best friend begged me. Jojo said. Said I need to stop working and start living. Do you agree with her? Jojo paused. Sometimes, but living feels different when you have no one to share it with. There, she said it. She didn't mean to go so deep so fast, but it just slipped out. Marcus looked at her for a long moment, and deep inside, Jojo whispered, I'll do whatever it takes. But something about Marcus told her this wouldn't be simple. Something in his eyes. She had found him the man from her dreams. All Jojo could hear was the soft wind and the sound of her own heartbeat. But something about Marcus, something in his eyes, told her this wouldn't be simple. And deep inside, Jojo whispered, I'll do whatever it takes. The party around them kept moving, music thumping, people laughing, lights dancing, but Jojo and Marcus were in a world of their own. They sat at a quieter corner of the rooftop now, 2 drinks in, talking like old friends. Marcus had that rare ability. He listened, not just with his ears, but with his eyes, his stillness. When Jojo spoke, he leaned in slightly, nodding, giving her his full attention. So you design buildings? She asked. Yeah, I'm an architect. I like structure, balance, making something permanent out of nothing. Jojo raised her brow. That's deep. He chuckled. I guess. And you? What do you do? I manage an international brand. Fashion and luxury, Jojo replied. Busy days, travel, meetings, everything. Except love. Marcus looked at her, then said, That's a heavy kind of silence, huh? Having everything but feeling like something's still missing. Jojo swallowed hard. His words hit her like truth wrapped in velvet. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Instead, she asked, Are you seeing anyone? No, he said, and I'm not good at pretending. That answer made her heart flutter. She smiled and looked away, but just as the moment deepened, something shifted. A woman walked by, tall, light-skinned, curly hair. She glanced at Marcus with cold eyes. He saw her too, and his body stiffened slightly. Not enough for Jojo to fully catch, but enough for her intuition to whisper, Who is she? Friend of yours? Jojo asked lightly. Marcus hesitated, then said, Not anymore. He didn't explain, and Jojo didn't push, but something in the air felt cracked, just for a second. A glimpse of a shadow in the corner of a perfect picture. Later that night, as Marcus offered to walk her to her car, Jojo hesitated. I drove myself, she said. I know. He smiled. But I still want to make sure you're safe. He opened her door like a gentleman, his hand lingering on hers a little longer than needed. Her skin tingled. Can I see you again? He asked. Jojo didn't even blink. Yes. But as she drove away, the woman's cold stare stayed in her mind. Something about Marcus felt like a dream, but every dream has its secret. The next morning, Jojo woke up with a smile on her face. Sunlight spilled into her bedroom through the white curtains, and her phone buzzed softly on the bedside table. A message from Marcus. Good morning, Queen. Hope you slept well. She stared at the screen for a while before replying. I did. You? His reply came fast. Better than I have in a long time. Can I take you out this weekend? Her fingers trembled slightly as she typed. I'd love that. Everything in Jojo's world started to feel different. Lighter. Sweeter. The thought of him made her want to sing. Her wardrobe, once filled just for herself, now had purpose. She began choosing dresses with Marcus in mind. The kind of scent he might like. Lip gloss that would catch his eye. By Saturday, her heart was dancing. Marcus took her to a quiet art gallery tucked away in a peaceful part of town. It was small, intimate, filled with African paintings, sculptures, and soft jazz playing low in the background. I like places that make you feel something, he said as they walked between exhibits. Jojo nodded, but her eyes were on him more than the art. He stood close, not touching her, but always near, like he wanted to protect her. Or maybe own her. She didn't know why that thought came, but it flashed through her mind quickly, then disappeared. They ate at a cozy African restaurant afterward. He ordered a gusi soup and pounded yam, and Jojo laughed when he wiped his hands like a child ready to feast. You're full of surprises, she said. I have layers, Marcus replied, smiling. Just like you. But then, something strange happened. As they left the restaurant, Jojo noticed the same woman from the party standing across the street, pretending to look at her phone. Their eyes met. Marcus tensed again. He quickly put his hand on Jojo's back, guiding her to the car. Jojo turned to him. Who is she, Marcus? She's not just an ex. Marcus looked at her for a long second. His jaw clenched. She's part of my past. A past I'm trying to leave behind. Jojo nodded slowly, but deep inside, something whispered, the past never really leaves. It waits. And Jojo was about to learn just how deep Marcus's past went. Jojo couldn't sleep that night. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Marcus's words echoing in her mind, she's part of my past. A past I'm trying to leave behind. But who was the woman really? An ex-girlfriend? A secret wife? A dangerous memory? Jojo wanted to trust Marcus. Everything about him pulled her, in his strength, his softness, his mind. But her instincts were awake now. Something about the woman's eyes. They weren't jealous. They were concerned. And that scared Jojo more than anything. The next day, Jojo met up with Tasha at their favorite cafe. She needed someone to talk to. You're glowing, girl, Tasha said, sipping her iced tea. I can tell this man is making you feel all kinds of butterflies. Jojo smiled softly. He is, but something's off. Tasha's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Jojo told her everything, the party, the mystery woman, the strange tension. Tasha listened, her face growing serious. Joe, she said slowly, sometimes love blinds us. We want someone so bad that we ignore the signs. But if something feels off, don't ignore it. Jojo nodded. What should I do? Find out who she is. You need to know what you're walking into. Later that afternoon, Jojo sat in her car, heart pounding. She had made a choice. She drove to the neighborhood where the restaurant was. Something told her the woman might still be nearby. And there she was, standing in front of a small boutique, looking through the window. Jojo took a deep breath, stepped out, and walked over. Hi, she said gently. I'm Jojo. We saw each other at the party and at the restaurant. The woman turned. Her face was calm, almost tired. I know who you are, she said. You're the new one. Jojo froze. New one? The woman looked her dead in the eyes. Marcus is charming, strong, loving, but he's hiding things. Things that can hurt you. Things that already hurt me. Jojo's chest tightened. What do you mean? Ask him about Zena. Ask him why he left Ghana. And ask yourself, are you willing to give everything for a man who's not free? Then the woman walked away, leaving Jojo standing in the silence, her hands shaking. That night, she stared at her phone. A message from Marcus waited. Thinking of you. Can't wait to see you again. But now, Jojo wasn't sure she was ready to know the truth. Jojo stared at her reflection in the mirror. Her makeup was flawless, her hair soft and curled, her dress hugging her curves perfectly, but her eyes, they were full of questions. Zena. The name echoed in her mind like a ghost's whisper. That night, Marcus had invited her to his apartment for dinner. He said he wanted to cook for her, show her something real. Jojo agreed, but her heart was heavy with doubt. She needed answers. Marcus lived in a quiet, upscale neighborhood. His apartment was warm and artistic, filled with dark wood, African masks and paintings that looked like they carried secrets. You look stunning, he said when he opened the door. Come in. Jojo smiled politely and stepped inside. The scent of jollof rice and grilled fish filled the air, but it didn't calm her nerves. They ate in the candlelit dining room. He poured her wine, served her food, and asked about her day. He was charming, kind, present. But Jojo could feel the wall between them, the invisible curtain of truth he refused to open. After dinner, they sat on the couch. Soft music played. He pulled her close, his hand brushing her shoulder. But Jojo pulled back. Marcus, who's Zena? His hand froze midair. His body stiffened. Silence fell like a stone. Where did you hear that name? He asked, his voice lower now. A woman. She saw us twice. She told me to ask. Marcus looked away, jaw tight. Then he stood and walked to the window. His broad back rose and fell slowly. She was my fiancée, he said finally. Back in Ghana, years ago. Jojo stood too. What happened? She died, he said, turning around. But not the way people think. Jojo's breath caught. What do you mean? I left Ghana because people believed I had something to do with it. They never proved anything. But the whispers, the stares, the judgment. I couldn't stay. Jojo stepped back, her heartbeat pounding. Did you? No, Marcus said sharply. I loved her. But love doesn't protect you from people's hate, or from your own mistakes. Jojo stared at him, unsure what to believe. His eyes were glassy now, his voice cracked with pain. But the seed of doubt had already been planted deep inside her. Could she trust him? Or was she falling in love with a man who had already buried one woman, and moved on? Jojo sat in her car outside Marcus's apartment, hands trembling on the steering wheel. The drive home had been silent, no music, no phone calls, just thoughts, fears and questions swirling like a storm. He said he didn't kill her. He said he loved her. But then, why does it still feel wrong? She remembered the way his eyes darkened when she said Zena's name, the sharp edge in his voice, the pain, the defensiveness. It didn't feel like guilt. But it didn't feel like peace either. When Jojo finally got home, she collapsed onto her bed fully dressed. For the first time in weeks, the silence of her beautiful apartment felt heavy, no longer a symbol of success, but a prison of loneliness. She wanted to call Tasha. She wanted to cry. But most of all, she wanted Marcus to tell her everything. The next day, Marcus showed up at her office unannounced. I need to see you, he said gently. Jojo looked around. Her assistant stared. Colleagues whispered. But she followed him out anyway. They sat in his car in the parking lot. He handed her a small envelope. Inside were photos him and Zena, smiling, dancing, holding hands on a beach, and a funeral pamphlet with her face on it. She had a heart condition, he said. She hid it from everyone. Even me. Jojo looked at the photos. Zena was beautiful. She had soft eyes and a quiet smile. The kind of woman that stayed in a man's soul long after she was gone. People said I worked her too hard, that our fights triggered it. Her family turned on me. I left Ghana because I was drowning in blame. Jojo touched his hand softly. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I wanted you to see me, not my past. Jojo looked at him, her heart torn in two. She wanted to believe him. She did believe him, but deep down, another voice whispered, if he's lying, it'll cost you more than tears. Jojo closed her eyes. She had waited for a man like this all her life. But now she had to ask herself, was love worth walking through fire for? And if it was, how far was she willing to go? Jojo didn't go to work the next day. She called in sick, though her body was fine. It was her mind that was tired, her heart that felt like it had run a marathon. She sat on her couch, holding one of Marcus's photos in her hand. Zena's soft eyes stared back at her, quiet and haunting. How do you compete with a ghost? How do you love someone who's still bleeding from the past? The truth was, Jojo had never fought for love before. She didn't have to. Men chased her, adored her, spoiled her, but never touched her soul. And now that one had, he came with shadows. Later that afternoon, her doorbell rang. Tasha. Jojo opened the door and fell into her friend's arms, the tears finally coming. I don't know what to do, Tasha, she whispered, voice cracking. I want him, but I'm scared. What if I'm wrong about him? Tasha held her close. Being scared doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you care. But Joe, you have to protect yourself too. Don't lose your peace trying to fix someone else's broken pieces. Jojo nodded, but her heart was breaking. Was loving Marcus fixing him? Or was it healing them both? That night, her phone buzzed again. Marcus, I need to see you tonight. Please. She hesitated. Then, come to the same rooftop. 8 p.m. I need to tell you something. Everything. Jojo stared at the screen. Her heart thudded. She knew this wasn't just about the past. This was about what they'd become, or what they'd have to walk away from. At 7:55 p.m., she stood at the edge of that same rooftop, wind blowing through her hair, her red dress flowing like fire. Marcus turned as she approached. His eyes were tired, like he hadn't slept in days. I'm sorry I pulled you into this, he said quietly. But before you walk away, there's something you don't know. Something I didn't tell you about Zena, and about me. Jojo held her breath. I didn't just leave Ghana to escape the rumors, he said. I left because I was being followed. Watched. Zena's death wasn't natural. And someone doesn't want me to move on. A chill ran down Jojo's spine. What are you saying, Marcus? He stepped closer. I think whoever was behind Zena's death is now watching you. Jojo's heart raced in her chest as Marcus's words settled into her mind. Whoever was behind Zena's death is now watching you. The wind picked up, rustling through the tall buildings around them. It was as if time had stopped. Everything in the world felt distant, as if nothing mattered except Marcus's words. I didn't want you to get involved, Marcus continued, his voice tight with urgency. But I know I can't keep hiding this. I tried to protect you, but the truth is, you've already been pulled into it. Into me. Jojo felt a chill wash over her. She stepped back, eyes wide. Are you saying you think I'm in danger? Marcus's face darkened. I don't know who's behind this, but Zena's death wasn't just a tragic accident. It was orchestrated, and whoever did it will stop at nothing to make sure I don't live the life I'm trying to build, the life I want with you. Jojo's mind spun. The weight of the situation was suffocating, but deep down, she realized something she had never felt so alive. This was real. This was the danger, the passion, the fire she had been craving her entire life. But at what cost? I don't know if I'm strong enough for this, Marcus, Jojo said, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know if I can face whatever is coming next. He reached for her hand, holding it firmly. You don't have to be strong alone, Jojo. I'll protect you, but I need you to trust me. We'll face this together, no matter what. For a moment, Jojo just stood there, staring at him, feeling the weight of his words settle deep within her. She had always been independent, always in control of her life, her career, her emotions. But now, for the first time, she realized that to truly live, to truly love, she would have to surrender. Marcus, she said softly, looking into his eyes. I trust you. His face softened, and a smile spread across his lips. Then let's face this together. We'll fight whatever is out there, and we'll fight for us. The air between them seemed to change. The storm that had been brewing, the shadows of the past, began to feel a little less heavy. Together, they were stronger. Together, they could face anything. As the night stretched on, Jojo knew that her life was no longer the same. She wasn't just living in the luxury of her dreams anymore. She was standing at the edge of something new, something wild. And for the first time in her life, she was ready to embrace it, the danger, the love, the unknown. Because sometimes love wasn't about finding someone who was perfect. It was about finding someone who was real. And Marcus was real.